Second attempt at this, but hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Within Crisis podcast. Tonight's show is going to be mine and Ash's hot takes of the recent gaming news and stuff over the last week. Hello, Ash. I believe your audio is now working. Yes, it is.
Yes, you would think after 15 episodes we'd have this down to a T, but
Never.
There's always going to be technical issues.
Yes.
Thoroughly surprised. Obviously, I think with work commitments, I was I didn't realize summer games was even a thing. So obviously, when on the day, and just obviously when you kind of dropping all these games and quite a few surprises, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely. It's such a big thing that the last time we tried to do this, we had a 3-hour show. We are not doing that this time around.
No.
So we are going to condense it down. We have both chosen 2 games that we love and want to talk about, and 2 games that we want to leave, whether it's just not our personal cup of tea, or it's just like, yeah, I really do not like this thing, or in Ash's case, and at least one of mine, a game that we would love to play, just don't have the time to do so. And then we're going to wrap up talking about something that's coming out next week, well, in 5 days. Final Fantasy 16, now that the demo's out, we're going to talk about what we thought. And that's going to be a talk.
That's when people start booking time off work and priorities change when something like that comes out.
Yeah. So let's start off with our main topics. We have got B-roll going, so we'll have the trailers going on in the background as we talk about our choices. And choice number 1 is yours, Ash.
So yes, this would be. I think it was. I don't know if I was clairvoyant because I remember when the portable version got dropped, I was like, why can't they just release Fez? Why can't they just release a HD version of that, perhaps? But of course, as people are probably kind of getting to the understanding what I'm getting to here is Persona 3. So yeah, we had the Persona 3 portable, which I did play, and I was slightly disappointed because obviously Fez was my kind of introduction into not just Persona 3 but into the Persona series. So yeah, for P3 Reload to be announced, that was just exciting. Just and I think, yeah, I think they really listened to their fans, because I remember reading a lot about it, like a lot of rumors and people saying, wouldn't it just be fantastic to play P3 again with all the new functionality of P5? And that's exactly what they've done.
Oh, definitely. So let's get some quick things out of the way. This is coming early 2024. It is on PlayStation, it's on Xbox, Game Pass on launch, and it's on Windows. So it's everywhere. Microsoft did pay to have a week-long exclusivity on his Xbox. Yes, Xbox hype. There was going, yeah, we know it's going to be PlayStation. It's in Japan. They're not going to sell it if it's purely Xbox. Because over on the Reddit grind the other night, we did talk about the market share. And there's less than 500,000 units of Xboxes between the X and the S in Japan, where there's over 3 million PS5s and 17 million Switches. So there's a big reason why Xbox games will be somewhere else in the Japanese territories.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, obviously, you got to think the cost it make when it comes to like remasters is a little bit different, but when it comes to like production costs of like AAA titles now, that I don't think they can afford to bottleneck themselves onto a particular console out of loyalty. I assume obviously this happened with 16 because Sony threw enough cash Square Enix's way to do so to get, and even then that's not pure exclusive, that's just timed exclusives, isn't it?
It's console exclusive.
Console exclusive, but yeah, then PC.
In 6 months, the exclusivity window is up, and by then they'll probably have started work on the PC version. But right now, it is getting the PS5 version out of the gate before they think about PC.
Yeah, which 15 was no different, wasn't it? But yeah, I just think these days developers, unless of course they are kind of owned and they're like a third party of a like, be it Sony or Microsoft, that's they don't want to bottleneck themselves. So you're starting to see all these games that were originally, when they first came out, these old games that are being remastered now, that were originally just on one particular console. For example, I believe Star Ocean. Yeah, you can go to the first Star Ocean game. That was SNES. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then that did get a PlayStation release. But then you have your HD remaster now, which is Switch, PlayStation,
All
and
over the
I
place,
believe
yeah.
it's all over. Yeah, and Square have been doing that a lot with their remasters as well. You think Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 are on mobile, they're on Switch, Xbox, PC. They're all over the shop now.
That shot of
Yes,
Vegas. Because the B-roll is running. I know you haven't got a scream up, but right now it's the shot of Aegis looking at the screen on the beach when he meets you the first time.
yeah, it was when I seen that it was a little bit of excitement, like the inner child was like, oh my god, I know exactly what this is. Well, I see inner child. I think the inner teenager, because you're looking at the age we first started playing this game.
Yeah, so there are a few things of note to really talk about here. We're not getting the epilogue featuring Aegis, and we haven't got the female main character, Kyoto Shione.
So the epilogue. This is the answer you said, wasn't it? The kind of dungeon crawler where it obviously is Tartarus, but it's Tartarus, isn't it?
No, it's a time loop underneath the dormitory.
But yeah, it's you're only given like a select amount of items, aren't you? And you have to be very.
I have never played it because it's Fairs, and I've never played Fairs. I've only played Portable.
Yeah. From what I remember, I loved the main game, but then I tried playing the answer, and I was just like, yeah, not
the answer was a way to show how the characters are dealing with grief and the reason why Nyx is summoned. So they realize, Minato has to be the seal, or Erebus will keep coming back. So the end of the world will never be stopped outside of Minato being the seal.
I'm not going to say that I'm that disappointed that the answer or those options have been dropped, because obviously that means that they are going to be adding more content to it, from the fact that it is kind of getting the Persona 5 treatment. They like you said, there's going to be more side quests added for this, and so it's going to be a lot more to the social.
Yeah, we got new events happening in Tartarus, breakable objects. Tartarus has been redesigned, which is cool. We can dash in dungeons, and one of the nicest changes they've mentioned is no more fatigue system inside.
Oh yeah, I hated that, because you had to either sacrifice leveling up time to obviously dealing with your social and training your attributes and stuff. So yeah, I'm kind of glad. And also, I assume they are getting rid of because Persona 3, you had to choose the attacks for each character. They didn't have the AI.
They have brought the PvP elements over where you can control your party members. We just had the scene on screen then where Yukari is being commanded by the player. So yeah, they made sure we can control our players like we can in Persona 5 and 4. So they have modernized it enough to get it out the gate.
Yeah, it's if anything, all the Persona's games really have like their own unique soundtracks, but Persona 3's was like probably the most impressive for me.
Yeah, burn my
not talking crap about Persona 5. Persona 5's music is fantastic.
Yeah. That's the thing with the Persona games, the music has always stood out. Yeah, I don't know if you want to quickly get a stream up for yourself so you can watch these videos as well.
That I might do.
So I'll let you do that before we move on to our next game. But is this going to be a day one install for you? Or purchase? Or I know you're traveling potentially when this game gets released next year.
I have my gaming laptop with me, so yes, there could be a time where I could reactivate the Game Pass.
Yeah. This is going to be a day one Game Pass install for me. Definitely. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. So yeah, we have got 60 frames per second. We have 4K support. It's being localized into 13 languages, mostly in subtitles. Is there anything else? And all of our social link events are now fully voiced. That is a really nice change. So wherever we're dealing with
Oh,
the
yeah,
Hobbit, the Chariot, all that. It's going to be really nice.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's just the additional content they're going to be adding into it will just make it worthwhile.
Yep. So our next game is one that I had forgotten it was even announced because it was first shown back in 2016. And it's called in Project ReFantasy. Studio Zero, led by Persona veteran Katsuha Ashino. He directed Catherine, P3, P4, P5, SMT3, Shin Megami F. He was a bloody producer on a lot of this stuff, writer on a lot of this stuff. And this is their attempt at going away from Persona, going away from SMT into a medieval high fantasy game. And it looks amazing.
I don't think I ever come across about this. You said 2016 when this was
2016.
Yeah,
all the trailers.
So this one kind of caught me by surprise.
Yeah, all the trailers were fucking eye concept out there. What the hell are you trying to show us? It's all live action video that made no sense, and this is the first time we have seen gameplay. Never mind what this game will be.
It's strange because obviously this, when I first seen the trailer, it kind of reminded me because I did remember playing what was the kind of Fire Emblems SMT crossover that was on Wii U.
No, I'm
but
not
then
sure on that one.
Came to Switch. I will Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I believe. And I remember when I first seen it, because I was obviously a massive fan of the Persona series, that I don't know, I was kind of disappointed by Tokyo Mirage Sessions because I just found it was a bit lacking. Where this definitely looks like it's kind of taken that and kind of really.
Yeah, a lot of the members of this studio has come from P Studios. So a lot of the writers from like Persona 5, if you will have Last Story, Persona 3, 4. So yeah, the story's going to be fantastic. Obviously, you can see the Persona style, especially the Persona 5 stylings in the menu system and stuff. But it also looks very SMT. We've seen bits like we got a resource called Mag, which is probably the Magnetite, another SMT reference there. We see like Matra the Kaja spells, Tetra Break. We got a calendar system similar to Persona. There's going to be social links to Confidants, and a fate system similar to Devil Survivor 2. So this game is going to be jam fucking packed.
It's like, just looking at the video now, it's like the closest you're ever going to get to actually having like a hands-on to like playing an anime game. And I know there's been lots of like video game adaptations of anime games, but just this one's something about it. Like, and from correct me if I'm wrong, this is not based off any book.
It's a brand new universe.
Material. This is this. So this would be quite impressive. Like like it'd be interesting to see where it goes from here, because would it just be this game, or would they actually kind of start a series based off this kind of setup they got here?
Really don't know. This is obviously Studio Zero, Studio Zero, whichever way around you want to say it. This is their first game.
I gotta say though, where did they get the name from?
It's a fantasy game, and that's it. It's like, this is what I mean. It started now with the live action. It's like it's a weird concept. Fantasio.
Yeah, but they re-Fantasio, so that tells me there was a metaphor Fantasio first off.
Yeah, it did start live as Project ReFantasy, but yeah, this is coming out next year. Xbox, Windows, PS, PlayStation 4 and 5. This is definitely going to be one I keep an eye on, and it's probably going to be a day one as well, because this first showing looks amazing.
Did you say PC for this one?
Yes.
Okay.
They haven't announced Game Pass for this, but it is coming to Windows and Steam.
I'm gonna have to keep my eye out for because obviously with these being announced now, that if I find any like I said, when I'm out in Japan, if I can find any like
Yeah, they don't
merchandise
know.
that I can for any of this, and
Yeah.
do some shipping back.
Yeah, the next game is your choice, but it's definitely our choice with how much we are a fan of this particular British style of game. This,
Yeah.
I'll let the trailer run and let you bring us into this.
Yeah, as soon as I heard the voice, and as soon as I heard Richard Ayoade, and I kind of just knew straight away, just twigged. I was like, the this Fable, the comedic, the British comedic value to it as well is just spectacular. So as soon as I seen this, and then when obviously you see the fully animated version of Richard Ayoade, just makes it even better. I was a massive fan of Lionhead Studios.
Yeah.
I played Black and White before Fable, and Christ, I remember saving up paper and money to get my first Xbox. I actually had the game Fable as a birthday present, and I had to wait a few months so I could save up to get an Xbox before I could even play it. So massive Fable fan, obviously.
Yeah.
Up
Oh,
until 3,
look at
and
that Power Stone in the background with the castle.
the launch of the chicken just kind of like
Yeah.
cements it for me as well, just from the fact that
If you can kick a chicken, you're in Fable. If it sounds British, you kick chickens, it's Fable.
Yeah, I was sorely disappointed when Lionhead Studios went under, but I'm so glad this has been picked up again. And what was it?
Playground Games.
Playground Games.
Yeah.
Fair Play's Playground. I'm glad you brought this back.
This is one of those situations that it's very much a Guerrilla Studios. Like, we knew them from Killzone. Then they came out with their first RPG in Horizon Zero Dawn and blew everyone away.
This little scene here is obviously with Fable. This kind of plays out a little bit more like a
Jack and the
if you were playing like Uncharted or something, and there's a scene where you just kind of have to run through, and the environment's changing. So that's something that is not really used to with Fable. Obviously, that's because Fable had that really kind of they tried to have that open world RPG element, but it was still quite linear and kind of kept you contained. But no, I maybe it's obviously for when it comes to battles, it kind of goes in that mode. But then when we're in an open world,
like a boss battle,
it's going to be like Fable we remember.
Yeah, I'm definitely hyped for this. Like, fair enough, this is just a concept trailer. Whether the action scenes we see are what they'll actually look like is another matter. But the thing that excites me is, speaking of Horizon, Andrew Walsh, the senior writer of Forbidden West, is on the team for this. And Playground Games is British. So this is in the hands of the British with British humour. And I think that's a good sign, because this is our first Fable since The Journey back in 2012. 11 years we've been waiting for another Fable. Especially after all the lies of Peter Molyneux, but we'll leave all those politics to the side.
If you remember, he lied with Fable 1.
Oh, he lied constantly.
He a bit of a Billy bullshitter, isn't he? What was? If I remember, one of the things he said about Fable is that like there would be like real time, obviously, like the trees, the forestry would age and die as well for for the seasons, and like that is to just go on stage and just announce, oh yeah, this game will do these things without actually consulting the developers themselves.
It reminds me of.
By the way, guys, we're doing this now.
Yeah, it reminds me of No Man's Sky. Sean, it's like he should never have been put in charge of PR, but he just said, "Yeah, you're our PR guy." Then he was just promising the universe, and that's why No Man's Sky flopped so much originally. It's like, yeah, what you promised all this? It's like, yeah, he's not a PR guy. He doesn't know. So yeah, Fable, no release date as of yet, but I'm glad they've done more than show a title card, and we know it lives, it's real, it's coming.
Yeah, it is one of those, like, I was getting slightly concerned. Obviously, we had that kind of really inconspicuous video before with the little fairy, and she gets eaten by the toad, and then it went quiet, and I thought, oh, God, it's going to be one of these. There's like inner turmoil in the studio, and then it's just going to get scrapped. But no, I'm kind of glad it is being released.
Yeah, I hope it's a better experience than 3. Because, like, replayed them recently, 1 and 2, even going back, they're still amazing games to play. But number 3, it feels so discombobulated, and it doesn't feel good. Like, originally, there was a good break between when I played 2 and 3. But playing them close together again, it's just like, they went so backwards in 3. Like, it was less open, you was limited in, like, all the cheesy stuff you could do in 2, like, with the red houses.
I feel like when you become king, or queen, depends on what character you is, in Fable 3, it kind of bottlenecked you, and like you were just sent off to do these missions. Yeah, so it just become quite limited that end. But it started off well. I was quite impressed.
I played it for the first time. I had my gripes, but I was younger, so it didn't matter to me as much. And like I said, it was a break between 2 and 3, so it's like, oh, okay, let's go.
You had the collector's edition, I believe.
Yeah,
as well, so
the one with the book. Still got the playing cards. The book, unfortunately, has taken the brunt of weather over time because it was left in my shed, which I didn't realise. Which was a shame. But yeah, Fable, coming. Who knows when? I'm excited. Not getting my hopes too high, but I'll be getting it. And it's day 1 Game Pass, so I'm paying for Game Pass anyway, so I don't care.
Yep. So obviously the 3 games we just announced now, obviously the concern of, I'm away when these come out. Well, I should be able to play them.
Yeah. Next up is definitely one that's geared more to me, I think, than both of us. I know you've played some of this series now.
Yes, Like a Dragon, I did. Well, have you switched over the radio?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Like a Dragon, I have played a bit of, and yeah, I'm quite impressed. But unfortunately, when we do move on to the next section, it is the reason why it's fallen the wayside is because adulting is crap, really.
Yeah, so this is Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. This is a sequel to Yakuza 6 and strictly speaking, a prequel to Like a Dragon 8, Infinite Wealth. So at the end of number 6, to keep his adoptive daughter safe and their son safe, Kazuma Kiryu faked his own death. Because he was too big in the underworld. Everyone knew who the fuck he is. The Dragon of Dojima, he is just an infamous Yakuza. So this is him still in league with the Daijoda family. I might have had that wrong. But it seems like he's some sort of secret agent of some sort. I think he's going by the name Joryu or something now. But yeah, this is coming out in November on the 8th for PlayStation, Xbox, Windows, and Steam. And yeah, I'm down for more Kazuma Kiryu. I want to know why he's coming back in Like a Dragon 8. And, yeah,
I gotta say,
so good.
the one thing that does impress me with this series is that quite similar to when you watch like animes, how they try to replicate real life areas, and from the fact that you can play Yakuza games and you can go and visit like a particular scene in game, and you can walk down a street and they got the same vending machine or the same shop front as well. So it's quite impressive that they do that.
Yeah, the attention to detail is always impressive. I am wondering where this game will take us in terms of locations. It's probably going to be back to Kabukicho, because they always bring Kiryu back to Kabukicho, which is obviously the red light district of Shinjuku.
Yeah, I think with it's Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. I think I got past the scene recently where I forgot what you had to do. It was a particular didn't you have to get milk for a bunch of men that dress up in diapers?
Yeah.
Yep, of course, because
it's usually a Yakuza family head that does it. It's a recurring gag in Yakuza.
Yeah, it's like that's just the standard material for
you have
RPG game.
you have the story which is serious. it has some light moments that you go into the side quest and all logic goes out the fucking window. I think there's another one that you might have done where a guy got thrown out of a soapland and he's covered in bubbles and he's naked underneath.
So yeah, you have to kind of like navigating through the streets, but there's like someone set up fans everywhere, so like they'll blow the bubbles away.
Fans, there's water around. Yeah, there's some silliness. Like, this game is going to be smaller than a main series game is because it's a guide and a side story. But this is prepping us to Infinite Wealth that also was shown at Summer Games Fest with Kasuga waking up on a beach in what seems to be Hawaii, buck naked. Just to show how silly this game series can be. But the writing is always fantastic. The characters are so likable and they stick with you with such good writing. So that is the last of our Love It section. Next up, we're going to start off with a game that's definitely on a... we would probably play, but might get left to the wayside, with Persona 5 Tactica.
Yeah, so kind of explain here. So originally you asked me, can we pick 2 games that we really are looking forward to and 2 games that we're not. Yeah. But then, of course, me and you are primarily RPG fans. I know you probably a bit more varied than me. I know I'm quite strict these days. It's one of those the game has to really kind of has to sell it for me. Just because from the fact that I have such limited time, I can't just play anything. So I thought it would be best that instead of picking 2 games that we were really, really looking forward to and 2 games that we're not interested in, like for example, was it World Combat 1, I believe was announced. You know, like, it looks impressive, but
I'm down for MK1, man.
you exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You played those type of games, so I'd be like, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it. So yeah, I think we decided, okay, 2 games that we like or 2 games that we do like, but probably aren't going to pick up because of reasons. And yeah, P5 Tactica is probably one of them. So I think I bent my rule in when it comes to the Persona games that I purely kind of stuck to the main Persona series games. I haven't played any of the dancing games that they have,
or the
fighting ones,
or the queues, or
so I made a bit of, the dungeon crawler one. So I made a bit of exception with P5 Strikers.
Because I said, dude, play this game.
Yeah, and then of course this one has now come out, and I'm like, I don't know, and because from the fact that they've announced P3 Reload, and I don't know, I'm kind of a bit exhausted with P5 now. I've played the original Persona 5, brilliant.
They have
played Persona 5 Royale, brilliant. Played Strikers, and then they're like, oh, there's another Persona 5 game, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, they've done probably more with the Phantom Thieves than they have for any other SMT or Persona game.
And just from the fact that when it comes to like the Persona S games, obviously we've got P3 Load and, like you mentioned, Metaphor. So I just feel like there's so many coming out that I'm going to have to pick one to kind of fall to the wayside, and this is it really for me.
But good news! This is actually out this year. It is coming out on November the 17th, Day 1 Game Pass. Also coming to PlayStation, Switch, Xbox, and PC.
Oh yeah, I definitely recommend playing it. It looks impressive. And
yeah, it's very much in the Q style artwork for the game.
Yeah, like, well, because what's the style of game that Strikers was? It's like I call it Dynasty Warrior, but it's Musou, yeah. So when obviously it was their first kind of go into that type of genre, we were really impressed because they managed to blend that and the RPG element really well. So this one obviously is looking a bit more tactics, and so I'm very confident it's going to be a really nice blend of like the tactics side and the RPG social element to it. So yeah, definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I'll probably end up playing this on stream to give it a go, because this Game Pass, it's easy for me to go, yeah, I need a new stream game.
This is stream quite a lot with what's been announced.
Oh, I know. Anything that's Game Pass, if it works on the PC, then yeah, I'm good to go. Until I end up getting a capture card to actually stream directly from the PlayStation or the Xbox or the Switch or whatever. But yeah, so this is set during the events of the main game itself. during a snowy day, they go through a strange tremor at the door. They emit in a suspicious light. Find themselves in a landscape sort of medieval Europe, as we can see on the trailer. They're attacked by an armed group, and they're rescued by an individual named Elle. And they accept an odd offer of cooperating with the Revolution. So I hope the story's good. That's all I can know while playing through this. Like, tactics games, some have good stories, some are just you're there for the tactics, and that's it. It's another reason why Triangle Strategy is up there with one of the best stories I've played. Is they made sure the story was good. It wasn't just a tactics game.
It's in my list. Obviously, it was the game I bought, but you borrowed and completed before I even got to play it. So
I played it twice.
Yeah, playing Live Alive, Live Alive, Live Alive, whatever variation you would like. And then Triangle Strategy is my next to play on Switch.
Right, and up next, by acclaimed writer Akira Toriyama, we have Sandland. Another one of your choices.
Yes, so this is the next one, and again, obviously the two main reasons is limited time to play games, and don't get me wrong, it's really impressive. I just like what we were seeing now in the trailer. It's not just the RPG element, but it seems to be a bit more like, I don't know. It kind of reminds me. I don't know. I think it might be because of the sand from the vehicles. It's a bit of a Borderlands type RPG game, and so I'll definitely keep an eye on it. And if obviously while I'm away, because obviously the two reasons why I've said I put these wayside from the fact that work constraint, but obviously I'm going to be on sabbatical for a year. So while I'm traveling in my downtime, I'm going to have so much free time that I might give some of these a go, and this might be one of them. But if obviously, because I played Blue Dragon, and if Blue Dragon's anything to go by, it's a beefy game. It's big, and sometimes I found Blue Dragon quite slow in some places. I found it really difficult to kind of keep at it. Like it didn't really kind of keep my attention. So I'll
this is
I'll keep
definitely
an
more
eye on this
actiony, so it might be busy.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll keep an eye on this one and see like how long how large of a game it is. Then if it's something that is 30, 40 hours, I'd probably give it a go. If they say it's 80 to 100, that's a bit too much. Then maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I didn't even know of the manga this is based off of. Like with Toriyama, I know Dragon Ball. I know that's what I know that he writes on, but this is another manga of his. So
fair play.
The base plot point is the main character is Beelzebub, the son of Lucifer. He's a bit bored of hell and just wants to live among humans, and he ends up getting involved with the sheriff that we're about to see on screen, Sheriff Rao, and ends up saving the world, I believe, by the end of the manga. So it's going to be interesting time seeing if they adapt a lot of the manga into the game as well. So that should extend the story a fair bit.
Yeah, no, that is true. So, or like, it could be like you said, it will be one of those they perhaps would DLC and extend on it in that way. But it'd just be interesting to see where they go with this one.
Definitely. And up next is one of my choices. This is one that, for me, is definitely in the Leave It camp. And that is Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Obviously, this is trying to homage the original Prince of Persia's, but as gorgeous as it looks, and as cool as the Metroid-style abilities are, the Metroidvania side-scrolling stuff, it feels like they've gone away from what made Prince of Persia. Like, I know there's a lot of players like the main character looks stupid. What is that design? That doesn't matter to me. It's a case of, I'm looking at the gameplay, it's like, if this was named anything other than Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, I'd probably be like, yeah, this is fucking cool. But I do feel like it's just taken away from what Prince of Persia is. Like the bits where
Yeah,
you just see the traversing, doing the jumps and the gaps. That's classic Prince of Persia. When you start doing these space abilities and all this fancy glyph stuff that we see here, it just doesn't feel like I'm in the same game.
yeah. I can't really say I could speak much. I played. Was it? Is it? There was the three.
Sunset
Prince of Persia game.
Time,
It was the second one.
Dark something. Yeah, I played all three and I can't remember the titles.
And yeah, like the Prince of Persia games then kind of reminded me, like at the time they were on PS2, they were very much similar to what like God of War was. And you know, look where God of War is now with Ragnarok. It's bloody impressive. So you would think a Prince of Persia game come out would be on the same scale of that. So I can see what they've done. They want to kind of go back to the, because obviously Prince of Persia was on SNES, was it? I believe.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. It was.
Might
Yeah,
have
it
been
was.
Atari.
It was a 2D. It was a side scroll originally.
Yeah.
I just feel like they just want to kind of step back, but I don't know. It just feels like a bit of a waste. They could have made this a big old triple A title and brought it up there.
I think because we've had like resurgence of Castlevania and Metroid recently, it just they wanted to jump on the bandwagon instead of taking the bits of Prince of Persia and made Prince of Persia, which is just hard as fuck platforming. That's all this game needed. It didn't need all the fancy, oh, now we're fighting a bloody dragon out of nowhere. You don't need that.
Do you think they just tried a bit too hard, was it?
Like I said, if it wasn't a Prince of Persia game, I'd probably be more inclined to go, okay. But I just can't gel with it.
Is this another Xbox one as well?
This is Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC coming out January 18th, 2024. So we have got an official release date. The next game on the list is Lies of P.
Yes, you can, because you played the demo for this, I believe.
So it is a Souls-like game. It's heavily inspired by Carlo Collodi's novel, The Adventures of Pinocchio. So you are playing the game as Pinocchio, a humanoid puppet created by the master Geppetto. And you will end up waking up in an abandoned train station in the city of Krat, engulfed in chaos and madness. And yeah. You are accompanied by a robot of sorts, your companion, Jiminy, spelled Gemini, but obviously it's Pinocchio, it has to be Jiminy. But yeah, it's a Souls like these games. I can enjoy them for maybe an hour-ish, but I do get frustrated, and I end up putting it down and not go back to it. Like, I loved playing Bloodborne. Like, when I started Bloodborne... Go on.
I'm probably going to butcher his name here because it looks very French, but is it Timothy Chalamet? He's the main character, the main protagonist in the latest Doom remake.
Yeah.
The Pinocchio, they really look like they designed it on him.
Yeah, potentially could be. Like, the demo was cool. It's a Souls-like. So it's very much, if you're a Souls-like player, you'll gel with us. The game looks fucking fantastic. But it's one of those ones I know I could play for an hour or two, put it down, and that's me done. Like, if it's... Go on.
The style of it looks... I know you say it's very, like, Souls-like, but I don't know, when I first looked at it, it kind of reminded me of a Bioshock. It had that kind of steampunk kind of esque to it.
Oh, it's a very steampunk game. It is pure steampunk. But when you say Souls-like, it's the combat. It is a Souls clone of sorts.
Do you think we're getting a bit kind of, I don't know, inundated with Souls-like games?
Yeah.
Although saying that this has been a... Well, you think Square jumped on it with, obviously, was it Strangers of Paradise?
Yeah. It's a franchise that works. There's so many Souls-esque games out there that you lose track of them now. There's so many indie ones out there like Mortal Shell that you will just lose track of it. But you get the big budget ones like this that come out. And players will rave about it, like Elden Ring, this, Neo, Code Vein. Some of them end up with really cool stories, but it is very much a slow game where you have to explore the world, and all the lore of the world is hidden around. You're not explicitly told what everything is, so it's very much like, to our RPG brains, we go out to explore every single nook and cranny to find the story. And I love the fact you got classic bloody Pinocchio costume. Before we move on to our last big topic, are there any other games that was announced over the last couple of weeks that you're excited about? There should be one in particular that's coming out on 2 discs.
Well, yes, that one we will be talking about now. But we're
talking about what's coming out in 5 days. Which was almost on 2 discs, but they managed to somehow make it 1 disc.
I'm just having a quick scroll. Just want to point out, like, it's not really the type of game I go for, but the Toxic Commando. So to have a John Carpenter game would be quite impressive. So.
Yeah, that was an immediate, I'm burned out by this genre. After Back for Blood, after, your Dead Risings and stuff like that, it's like, the Horde style game, Days Gone did it so well, it's like everything else just like, What about Pal's World, I think it's called? The Pokemon with guns.
Is that Pokemon with guns? Yeah, I was funny enough, I was looking for that one. Yeah, I remember seeing the first trailer of it, and it's one of those, like, I probably wouldn't immediately go out and get it, but I probably would recommend it to my nephew to go and play.
Yeah, sure. It's what I want to play, and a lot of the monster designs, you're like, haha, I can see what you were meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, another that was mentioned was, but I don't think we included here, was 7 Rebirth, on the fact that we knew this was coming anyway.
But it was still shown. We actually saw more of it this time. We had a proper trailer. We saw a lot, decent chunk of gameplay.
Yeah, I think people were worried that it was going to be like, how the heck? Like, we understood like how remake was going to be very linear from the fact that it was just covering the area of Midgard.
You're playing 40 minutes.
Will be Yeah, and when you play that in the original game, even though it's an RPG game, it is you are bottlenecked. It was only then, once you get like out of Midgard and go to Calm, could you just freely explore. So I don't think it's yeah, I think it's definitely going to be on the likes of like the Horizon type games where you will be allowed to freely explore, but you will probably find yourself kind of backtrack and just carry on with the main story. It's not like a Fable game where you can just go off and do all the side quests and just level yourself up, so you just become a fucking tank and just blaze for the main story. I don't think it's going to be like that.
It might be. We really don't know what the approach is going to be. They have said, it's bigger, we got more stuff to do, we got side quests in the open world, we got a chocobo that can dig for items, there's a lot that we've been able to infer and glance at, but we really don't know. And
unfortunately, this is the first game on our list where I actually won't be able to play it while I'm away, because obviously it's going to be PS5 exclusive, and I'm not going to be hauling that thing around with me on my back.
No, not at all. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a show that will be delayed until you've got back and you've been able to sit down, enjoy it, and play through it.
Yeah, certainly.
Probably have a DLC released by then. You never know, like, it's great.
Yeah, hopefully. We can hope. Oh, because when is it? What's the release date?
Early 2024, same as P3 Reload.
I come back. It might be slightly less than the retail price when it comes out. So
maybe
save myself the money.
Maybe. What else was announced? The biggest one from the Xbox showcase was Starfield. I can't get hyped for it. I don't think it's my cup of tea as much as I like Bethesda games. Skyrim still to this day I will happily sit down and play the fuck out of.
Yeah.
But this feels
Oblivion
like
as well.
Fallout in space, and the Fallout series was always one that I'd play it for a chunk of time, put it down for months, and months, come back to it for a couple of hours, then months.
Yeah. I had an argument with a friend of mine once about you should remember Kenwood, because he was a massive fan of the Fallout games, but he hated Skyrim and Oblivion. Where I loved Oblivion and Skyrim, and I didn't necessarily hate Fallout, but I just didn't like. Don't go like the I like the whole kind of post-nuclear kind of set like get up and like and the environment, but like. There's something nice about Skyrim where you can. I've seen a meme recently where this guy's just stood there and he's saying, "Oh, when you're playing Skyrim 4 o'clock in the morning and you just got the music playing and you're looking at the what they call it, the Aurora Borealis in the sky, and it's really pretty to look at. With Fallout, it's not. Fallout is just like, oh god, the world's ended. This looks miserable, which is exactly what it is.
Yeah, the best thing about Fallout is usually the trailer music, because that gets stuck in my head every single fucking time. But it's like Starfield should appeal to me. Like, I love Mass Effect. I love fucking RPGs. This should appeal to me. Like, I've got it set up on the Xbox to download day one because it's on Game Pass with the pre-install. But I don't know if I'll enjoy it. Like, I'm going to play it, give it a go, but I don't know if I'll actually enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to let me know how this goes because, it's probably something I won't pick up.
Yeah, I am looking forward to watching videos of people making the spaceships, because on stream, the extra stream they did after, one of the guy showing the ship creator actually made an Optimus Prime. So I'm like, all right, so there's going to be someone doing Gundams. We're going to have Tyrannosaurus Rexes, Millennium Falcons.
You say that, but like I haven't played the latest Zelda game, but just from the fact that you give people, you give the players the creative ability, and they end up just creating gigantic talking balls. And yeah, there's going to be, if you give,
they're going to make the Spaceball ship. You know,
flying talking balls in space.
They got the Spaceball ship.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, like I haven't got the creativity for that shit. That's half the issue. It's like, if I was that creative, yeah. Fucking right, I'd create some cool ass shit, and that's where all my playtime would be, with creating these crazy vessels. But no. What do you say, buddy? Shall we talk about the demo?
Oh, the elephant in the room, is it? Yes.
Demo in the room, the demo. Yes, demo.
The demo. Fuck me, that was dark.
Yeah,
just
so,
wow.
June,
I know.
June 22nd, we are going to experience a story, and I am so fucking hype.
I feel like they when this is like, oh, this is because this is the first mainline series Final Fantasy that's got a mature rating, and I really think they
earned that in 8 seconds, pretty much. And like the first 8 minutes of the game, they earned that mature rating.
Yeah, just like I think it shocked a lot of people, probably more so people who weren't necessarily Final Fantasy fans, but if they played this is gonna bring in some new players from the fact that it's
yeah, that's been the thing. Yeah, since the demo came out, I have jumped between streams just to watch people's reaction to the end of the demo. And like people who have never played a Final Fantasy before, never played an action game before, all of them are like, holy fuck. Like the outroar of positive vibes from this prologue. Like I've said it to you, I repeated it on a Reddit run the other night. This is the best prologue I have ever played.
And all the all the bloody George R. R. Martin fans are going to be like, well, they're ripping this off, aren't they?
Yeah, it is very Games of Thronesy, yes. The map is very witchery. The combat, luckily, doesn't feel too Devil May Cry-esque. The combat is fantastic.
And a particular character who they've been who's shown to be a very lovely woman. Which we're going to be so happy to see her. What happens to her?
She has taken over Skylar from Breaking Bad as woman I hate the most.
My God, how what was it? Not even a 2-hour demo. How they can?
No, it's like an hour 40, I think, on average for the story part.
how we can show enough story and give enough context for you to despise that character already is incredible.
Yeah. Oh, the voice acting. Oh, Cabron, the voice acting was so fucking good in this.
Yep, I can't fault the. Well, we're not being 14 players. We're not surprised by that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think people who are new to the Final Fantasy series, or people who are fans of the Final Fantasy series but not necessarily played 14, are going to be very surprised by this.
Yeah.
I've heard some people compare it a lot to Final Fantasy 12, just because obviously the British voice acting.
Just a question that came up over on the Reddit ground when I was on the Thursday. Did this feel like a Final Fantasy to you?
No, I feel like all the Final Fantasy. So Final Fantasy 12 very much tried to get in that kind of European element to it, but it still remained very high fantasy and very Japanese-esque. This one is like they've essentially taken The Witcher and slapped like the Final Fantasy kind of around it. It's but at the same time, it's still it's like it's Final Fantasy, but it's not the Final Fantasy that we're used to. So it's going to be something fresh.
Yeah, I was the odd one out of the three who said this felt Final Fantasy to me. I think that's because Final Fantasy VIII is my favourite, and that game does not feel like a Final Fantasy, even though it's a Final Fantasy, because it's just so off the rail with its storytelling. It doesn't fit the normal style, and this is something that's taken the formula away and has just elevated it, I think, and it's going to be amazing.
The one thing I'm kind of glad Square, I feel like now they've released the actual playable demo, and people are blown away by it. That have confidence in your bloody game. It's just like they announce something, they go to I'm speaking about Forspoken here. It's that I just felt like they flaked out and were because they had it in their head that it was going to be a flop. That's just not supporting it out the door, and of course it's going to flop. And then that was obviously off the back of what was the game that lasted? Was it not even a month? See, I've even forgot the name about it.
There were so many games that Square Enix have called failures, but the amount of people have now just got out. God, I have to buy a PS5 now. Fuck! Look at me! I've just bought a PS5. Thank you, Yoshi P. Yeah, this is a place. This is something we haven't seen in a good many years. This is a console seller.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, fuck pre-order numbers, whatever it was. This is a game that's getting people talking. Whether you're a Final Fantasy fan, an RPG fan, an action fan, or just saw this and like, holy crap, I got a Game of Thrones style game that looks beyond beautiful.
I think they get too hung up on the pre-order, the amount of pre-orders. Like, if they're not...
It was the media outlets that got caught up in it.
Yeah, just like just have faith in it, and have faith in creating like Business Studio 3, because like look, they've proven themselves, and from the fact that they are like essentially they single-handedly keeping the reputation of Square Enix going. So they they were going to create a really good game. We knew this.
14 paid for this development. Our subs to 14 has pretty much paid for 16. Because it was
because of the gacha games as well.
No, Yoshi P said that it was because of the revenue that 14 brings in that the budget he wanted for this game happened.
That's possible, yeah.
And you could just see how fantastic it fucking looks. And it played so well as well. Did you play with accessories or without?
I did. I was just playing it. I just wanted to play the story. It's probably one of those. Yeah, I will mess around and change the difficulty, obviously based on the accessories. Well, but no, I haven't.
The game difficulty doesn't change. It is literally just the accessories that affect things. I played it with both.
Yeah, that's how they explained it. It's not like set difficulties, isn't it? It's very customizable because of the accessories.
Yeah, I played it with both. I found that, at least in the first part of the demo, I didn't need either of the accessories to get through it. I did find one button to go fancy with your combos. I found that to be a hindrance a lot of the times. like the Phoenix Shift, one fancy ability you had, Clive would just randomly use it. Whereas when I took the accessory off, I would wait until I've staggered an enemy, get a big strong hit in, because it did more damage while it was staggered. So it allows you to be more tactical without it. But for people who just don't play action games, I'm sure it'll be helpful. If you're at range, you'll just spam your magic attacks from range. If you're close, you'll just do combos. It'll be nice for some people. The only accessory I found to be really nice was in the second part of the demo in the Iconic Challenge, and that was for Toggle's AI. So I didn't have to keep pressing left on the D-pad to swap between items and Toggle. It allowed me to just focus on Clive and Clive only. So then I knew where my potion was if I needed it. I knew where the strength potion was if I needed a boost of strength. I didn't have to fixate on trying to get Toggle to heal or sick or...
I'm kind of glad they stuck a Dragoon in the demo, though.
Oh, yeah. That scene. Oh, so good. That was the moment like, I'm in Final Fantasy now. Yeah, give me that nostalgia.
Yeah. They made it feel like such a, just like, it feels like it's a totally new IP, but at the same time, they've managed to tick all the boxes of what makes a Final Fantasy and have got all the previous elements in. So that was just in that 2-hour demo alone.
Yeah. And this game be holy, dude. Bloody Benedicta and can't figure the guy who is Titan's dominant.
So
it's just like in that scene. They say enough to get Titan, like, I'm going to just stay on screen. You fuck this. I'm going to go up there and fight myself. Fuck you all. And then Benedict chases after him. It's like, Daddy, hello. Let's get sex on the go while you're back.
I like the scene where, like, the cliff is collapsing and you're playing as Clive and running through, and all you see is the other member of his team. Fuck. So they're definitely going to be adding some humor into this game.
Oh, the one scene where you're sliding down and just a big-ass boulder just splatters your teammates. The same one who was probably saying the fuck. Did you notice, even though the names are a bit different between the two companions who joined you in the first part of the demo, Wade and Leonardo or something?
I believe it was?
Yeah, something like that. That was Biggs and Wedge. Come on. You can't fool us, way.
When it came... Are you talking about the two at the start, like when you're playing as Clive, or when you're playing as a younger Clive?
When you're Clive going after the goblins.
Yes, I thought that as well. I thought there could be Biggs and Wedge in there. Come on. And then when they showed their names, I was like... Start off. Biggs and Wedge.
Don't lie to us. But yeah, some of the names were just like, oh no, it's such a British fucking name. I can't remember who it was. It was the attendant to the king, and he just had such Rodney. And just like, that's such a British name.
Gonna call him a plonker.
Yeah. What the fuck he was? He got his bloody king killed. Yeah, very much a Sean Bean moment.
Yeah, that's. But yeah, they like when you're like, oh, I wonder if they're going to show blood in this game, and they kind of check. We got blood, lots of it.
Yeah. So, how did you enjoy the combat? As Base Clive, I'll ask about the iconic combat next.
So this is why I've only played the first part of the demo. I haven't played the icon, because I think they did mention you get to kind of experience where it's like playing the older Clive and the combat. That's
you were a couple of more hours into the game.
I didn't want to spoil it for myself. I wanted to just start off with like the what we have as a base Clive and the young Clive, and then build up from there. Because and what you have at the beginning is very impressive. So the battle system's so fast paced.
I played half of the Iconic Challenge. I knew what it was already because it had been shown in previous trailers and stuff. So I got up to the first boss and that's where I stopped. But it did give you Garuda's abilities, to give you Titan's abilities, and the rest of Phoenix's. So the combat there is hectic, is the best way to describe it. Like, if you play Devil May Cry, you're a bit more used to being able to swap between stances and getting into different styles and chain things up. Like, some of the combos people were already doing, like, showing on Twitter, just like, yeah, so once I touch that enemy, they can't move. I have got them locked into position, juggled, and they're fucked. And it's amazing to see. That's what this game will really be showing off eventually.
So, with Final Fantasy 15, in my opinion, somewhat failed, was that they both 15 and 16 have gone for the same ideas, from the fact that the icon battles, you want them to be
grandiose.
On scale, you want them to be huge. Yeah, you want to be impressive, and then when it comes to the small battles, because essentially, remember when Advent Children came out, and it was because it was fast paced. We were like, this would be incredible if we could play this as an actual game, and we're at that point now. So
yeah,
when people
it
start,
definitely feels now when Clive has the rest of his abilities, it feels very much like Advent Children.
Yeah, so when people start squealing like, they've moved away from the old turn based though, it's not Final Fantasy. I'm like, well, imagine showing a big grandiose footage like that, then suddenly you're then transition into a battle where that massive monster's either just been scaled down, and then your character's there, and then you're just choosing attacks. I just think it loses that kind of or to it that so it has to be a battle system, and I think they tried that with 15, but the problem is obviously they tried building their own battle, like the entire game engine.
Yeah,
I just felt 15 was really clunky.
15 had hell for its entire life cycle, and that was the thing. So, it went through hell, whereas this, from start to finish, they knew what it was achieving.
Yeah. So where 15 somewhat failed, I wouldn't say they completely failed. Like they patched the hell out of it and kind of did get there somewhat. And obviously, Forspoken's using the same engine, and you've said yourself, like they have definitely improved on that.
Oh yeah, the Luminous engine runs so nicely for Forspoken.
Yeah, that 16 has succeeded in my eyes. Just that demo alone has proven it.
Yeah. I am beyond hype for this, but yeah. How did you enjoy the icon battle? Since we were talking about the first part, we control Phoenix, we fight Ifrit, and it's such an epic Lord of the Rings style fucking Balrog encounter. But I mean, especially when we crash down into the archaeological or whatever it fucking is, and the monastery underneath that only the Phoenix is allowed to go down into.
I like how they scaled it. Just you go from a battle area when you go into it, like we see now on the video, when you're playing as Clive, then to scale it up then to that size. But then of course we've been seeing in the demos where Clive confronts Ifrit like as obviously as Clive. So it'd be interesting to see how those battles turn out. How obviously we've seen icon against icon fights, and like that kind of battle scales up, so you're used to that. And then of course when it's like Clive fighting people, it's smaller. So
yeah, that is what the iconic challenge ends up being. You fight Benedicta, then she transforms into Garuda. You fight her as Garuda, then you become Ifrit to fight Garuda. And from the footage I've seen, because they've shown this in trailers previously, they've shown the fight. It's like a sumo match when you're playing as Ifrit against Garuda versus a railgun shooter when you're playing as Phoenix. It's very nice that every icon fight is going to feel unique and different to each other, and I can't wait to see what the Odin fight's going to be like.
What do you think is going to happen? Because it's Jill that becomes Shiva, isn't it?
Yes.
And Jill's the girl that clearly has got a thing for Clive when you're obviously playing the demo where they're younger. And just seen from the trailers, they do meet back up when they're adults. Do you think if they are going on the Game of Thrones route, that they're going to play it in that, like, obviously they're going to be very close, but then they're going to kill her off, and they just to fuck with you?
Who knows? That's the thing. We really can't predict where this story is going to go. Because I brought this up on Religrad. I expect, like, we're right now at the end of the demo on a revenge path. But I expect the usual Final Fantasy fuckery to happen partway through, and we're on a completely different quest that we just didn't perceive.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah. So many games is like, yeah, we know what the story is. Holy shit, who is this guy at the end of the universe who's the actual bad guy all along?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that because we were quite worried when because you kind of said as well, like they didn't want to stop. They did a press release here. They were like teasing more and more, and they were like, right, you've sold it enough. Like people are interested. I don't go spoiling too much of the game, but I think they've really been quite strategic with 16. Is that we have seen a lot. We've seen a lot of videos, but have we seen a lot that kind of gives away the story?
We have seen a lot of stuff out of context, which is nice.
Yeah.
Like, we know CPU3 are really good at doing trailers that have red herrings. We don't really know what the fuck is happening. So, yeah.
No, they have to do that with 14, don't they? Because they know they got like a fan base that kind of...
No, or more really than them in some ways with the law that existed.
Exactly.
But I think that's a good place to wrap up the show. We are hype. Yeah. We will be back probably in a couple of weeks after me and Ash as Randy Marsh cream fleeched all over this game.
I will play this on release until my eyes bleed. But then I'm away the weekend, so I can't play. I can't make my eyes bleed too much.
Yeah, until you work out if you got internet to remote play, you're fine. You're fine.
I don't think that would go down well.
You just wait for your partner to be asleep. So, you wait for her asleep.
It's not like, playing the game remotely.
Well, I've gone now and now.
I'm getting devil eyes here, so she's sat right next to me, so that's no.
But yeah, we will be back for that. Other programming news, I will be streaming Monday, Wednesday, Thursday potentially this week. We've got to see, depending on the heat, depending on if the raid group is together. In theory, we are together tomorrow to get back into P9S with 11 Strike Prog. We are getting PTSD from dying and dying and dying and dying. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Oh yes, I'm the FOMO I'm feeling of this is.
You're fine. Intense. You're just like
I'm not. I'm just like that would just stress the crap out of me. I haven't got time for that.
It's a case of we're in a mechanic that requires very precise movement, and we're just getting our movement down.
How many lockouts have you had?
Ooh, 5, 6. Yeah, keep in mind, we went in blind for the first couple of lockouts. Like, the only thing we've looked up is a visual on how the movement works for this one mechanic.
So, just to put in the context, each lockout takes 120 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
90. Oh, so
90.
It's the amount of hours the issue,
the big issue is the mechanic we are progging is 4 minutes into the fight. So every pull takes us 4 minutes to get back to that same point. So the amount of pulls we do gets less each lockout because we're getting further and further into each pull.
So HP wise, percentage wise, what
56%. That's without spotting and optimizing. We know the first 4 minutes we are brain dead. We're just chatting bullshit. Just to get to this
point now. Been taken already?
Oh yeah, that was done in 34 hours. Yeah, 34 hours.
Jesus. And I bet that was a constant 34 hours for them, wasn't it?
Probably a bit of sleep. But yeah, it was an hour and a half shy of 2 days.
Christ.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I love 14 and love putting a lot of the content, but some of the stuff that you and the guys in the FC do, it's a bit beyond me.
Yeah, we got a group, so it's just fun to learn harder stuff. Like, we're not doing it to try and raise everything. We're doing it because, well, there's 8 of us who want to do it. That's bloody do it. But until next time, folks, you will find me back here over on twitch.tv/Within Crisis. You can find our episodes and our backlog over on Within Crisis Podcast over on YouTube. Ash, they will try and find you on on Twitter, but fail, I'm guessing.
No, that Twitter, my Twitter is there.
But do you reply? Do you tweet?
Do I? I do not tweet. No, I'm not that active. I'm a social hermit, even when it comes to social media.
Yeah, I mostly retweet about the show and stuff our friends do, like Matt and Mike and all that. I retweet stuff and your tweet of 16 looks amazing, stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to find me personally over on Twitter at Flint_Laureate, in our outro screen will be our socials and everything else. And until next time, folks, take care.